everyone, at home, in the office, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to another edition of the Experience Talk Show. My name is Abel, your host for this program, and seated next to me is my co-host in person of
Francis Odeh.
You're welcome to this show. Please sit back and enjoy the show. All right, so far we've been having a great time with my co-host. We've been having a series of in-house discussions, and so today we're going to be looking at a topic called 2024 in view.
Wow,
so yes, we're going to be discussing how the year went, the lessons we're able to draw from the year, the blessings, and I assure you it's going to be a great time, and I promise you we're not going to take much of your time. It's a promise from me, it's a promise from us. So let's begin with this. How was 2024? Just answer if it was fine, if it was pleasant, or just explain. Say how 2024 went in one word.
Excellent.
Wow, excellent. Why excellent?
Excellent because I'm alive rather. Sorry, I'm alive.
Yeah.
So whatever I went through the year, I was able to cope with every challenges. I was able to come out from the challenges. So it was excellent because you know that challenges comes to promote a man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then I was able to face those challenges despite the way you understand.
Yeah.
The way the whole things is this 2024. You know, I thank God for everything.
For me, I would say 2024 was blessed because no matter what happens all through the months from January, February, March, April down to this moment, I see myself as someone who is blessed because it's a blessing to be alive. It's a blessing. I'm really grateful to God. So let me open the floor. I'm going to start by sharing my own experiences of this year 2024. And one of the things I learned from this year is that it is good to make decisions. I actually learned decision making in a great way. So a time came in the year, at the course of the year, where I had to make some kind of decisions. I had to make some vital decisions, and you know, there are some decisions that will cost you. For example, can cost you a particular association. So I don't want to give more details, but I made a decision that I knew was going to be beneficial for me and where I'm headed. Why? Because there was should I say, okay, like I said, I don't want to give more I don't want to go into details of that, but 2024 taught me what it means to make decisions. And one of the things I can say is that if you don't know how to make decisions, other people will make decisions for you. So
that's right.
So being the last girl in the family, being someone who has older people I look up to, there are so many pieces of advice from time to time, so many words of advice, pieces of advice, so many encouragement, so many counsels from time to time. It was so much that I had to tell myself, okay, girl, you have to sit down and make decision. You have to sit down and make a decision because this is your life we are talking about. You know, other people have lived theirs, and I was able to gather that it's good to make decisions. It's good to get advice from people. It's good to get suggestions from people. But at the long run, you determine what goes on in your life. So that was my first lesson from 2024: making decision and at the right time. With decision, I can say that where I am right now, I want to give all thanks to God for helping me make the right decisions and at the right time. Even though some decisions were not actually easy.
Wow. That is great.
Thank you.
I think I have a point similar to that as well. So it's my number one point as well. And one thing I want to say is that it's not about having decision or making decision. Understand? And I want to talk about adequate planning and decision making.
Yeah.
Because if there is not appropriate planning, there is nothing you can implement.
That's true.
So one of the things that helped me so much this year is adequate planning and then decision making. So like you want to plan to go to Abuja. there are some steps you need to take before you head there, before you get there.
True.
So that is, and then in the process of going there are some things that will come your way. You will stop, buy and get fuel. Maybe you want to buy something, you want to eat. These are the strategic decisions to implement your future. So one of the things I did was to have a template, a proper planning about the year. So that will help me how to go about them, how to take decision on each those planning per time. You understand? So if there is no adequate planning, there can't be adequate decision.
That's true.
So the planning helps me to know the right decision to take on them, the right steps to take on those planning, and then I was able to achieve a lot this year. It was a blessing to me. So the emphasis is that for us to achieve anything on earth, we must have the blueprint, the template of that thing first, which is the planning. Because the year if you just enter the year like that without any planning, without anything, you won't achieve much.
That's true.
So you need to plan ahead the year.
That's true.
Plan, so you after the planning, you're able to know the right step to take, the right decision to take, and from there you see yourself achieving what even beyond your expectation and imagination.
That's true. That's so a great one.
That is it.
So I think this brings me to the second lesson I learned from this year.
Okay.
And that is living your life.
Wow.
We all have this big picture of things we want. Everybody has that. The only reason why you see people who just live their life to chance is that they don't have, just like you say, they cannot make decisions. They don't have adequate planning for their life. They just step into the year, and before you know it, they're like, wow, so the year is over, and then they realize that they've not even done anything significant. So that aside, there are people who have dreams, they have goals, they have a lot of things they want to achieve. Maybe due to some factors, they are now being limited. So I learned to live my life regardless. I learned to keep moving, because if you wait for things to come before you go forward, sometimes you just remain where you are. For example, you're going to Abuja, for example, okay, and then you take a taxi, or you get into a public transport, and then let's assume that the car broke down on the way. Would you now stay where you are, hoping for a miracle to happen? And it's very possible that there is nothing that is going to be done to this. Will you now sit all day and wait? No, you have to look for, okay, what's the next step?
Alternative.
You have to keep going. So I learned this year that no matter what happens, I have to keep going, because at times you set goals and then you realize that there are some things that will in a way limit your goal, that they won't be fully actualized. And then there are other times whereby you have a picture of what you want to see. Maybe you are, for example, you are trusting God for a particular thing, or let's say, okay, let's say I'm a mother, an expectant mother, waiting for a child to come. So because my child is not coming, I'll not sit down all day, fold arms, and be blaming God, asking heavens questions and all of that. So I had to learn to keep moving. I was making plans, but if I realized that some of those things were not happening, but it didn't stop me from living my life. So I actually had to learn to live my life, and that's why to this moment I'm still smiling.
That's good. And before I move to my own point, live your life could mean two things. It could mean negative, it could mean positive. So the emphasis is that live your life we are talking about is not a negative one, it's a positive one. Because when you are telling people live your life, they will say, after all, it's my life.
This is what I am.
This is what I am. So when we are being advised with good things, you won't be able to accept it, because for instance, a child that maybe is living useless life, or a kind of life that is not suitable to where he or she is going to, and an elderly person is giving a directive to that young guy or young lady, such person will say, after all, it's my life, let me live my life. So that is not the kind of life we are talking about. We are talking about live a positive life that will yield a positive result. And another thing to contribute to what my colleague said earlier is to be strategic to your life. Like, she gave a scenario whereby you are going to Abuja, and your car broke down. You need to find an alternative. So you need to be strategic about some decision.
That's true.
You need to be strategic about your thinking. You need to be strategic about your movement and position per time, because it's all of those things that will help you to actualize what you need to achieve in the year. So that's what she meant. It's not about you have to live your life, you live it anyhow. No, you need to be strategic about it. You need to be disciplined about your life, because what you are not disciplined about, you won't be able to actualize the result.
That's
so
true.
I think it is good that they understand to this
Very
level and
true,
point
very
as well.
true, very
So
true.
another thing I want to talk about also is personal growth or development. Like the one of the things we had one show the other time, I said something that for a man to grow first, you need to develop your mind first.
Yes, I
Because
remember.
the reflection of your life based on the input of your mind. So you have to know what will bring development to your life, or growth to your life per time, spiritually, physically, academically, in all your endeavors.
Yeah, right.
So as a man, for you to see yourself at the top, you must develop yourself. You must learn the habit of growth.
Yeah.
Growth in the sense that you must grow your thinking. You must develop your thinking.
Right.
You must develop your mindset. You must because for your life to see transformation, if the kind of information you perceived in matters a lot.
That's true.
There are some people, their life they are seeing rejection or destruction today. I think, to me, if you check very well the kind of information or the kind of association, the kind of things they involve themselves in, determines the result they are seeing. So also, if you see your life, for you to achieve much in the year, that's one of the things. For me to achieve much in the year 2022, I need to, what are the 2024, sorry, what are the things I need to develop? What are the things I need to work on myself? Personal growth and development. In one of the show we had, I say something that for man to grow, you have to develop your what? Your mind.
Your mind. I remember that.
Yeah. So the reflection of your transformation, the reflection of your growth, based on what? On your mind development.
That's true.
So what am I trying to say is we need to develop ourselves in terms of character, in terms of academics, spiritually, in all ramifications of our lives, or in all our endeavors. We need to engage, we need to learn new things, we need to engage ourselves. What are the things that I didn't know in the previous year that I need to engage myself in? For instance, now I learned how to cook new kind of African food.
Like what?
For instance, I learned how to, there's one particular tribe in Kogi State, which is Ebira. So
yeah.
I one of my former lodge mate, she taught me how to cook the particular their bean soup. It has two types. So she taught me how to cook that particular soup. I learned how to cook it. Even I can cook the soup more than her now. And other things also, I learned different dishes. Am I right?
Yes.
So things like that. Also, if you are a man, doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn kitchen things as well.
That's true.
So I learned how to cook, I learned how to manage home, I learned how to manage people, resources or assets.
That's true.
I was engaged with someone that that I was able to manage that person asset, like properties and things like that. So things like that, I bought new books. I read all of those things, and so many things like that.
Wow. Embracing growth. So
yes.
with growth, you were able to do all of this, and I think that also works for me. This year, one of the things I also learned is that when you embrace opportunity, you actually giving room for growth.
Yeah.
So I think the previous year I embraced opportunities, but there were some opportunities I shied away from. So one of the things I was intentional about this year was embracing opportunities. So I think at the course of the year, was it March, April, I can't really remember.
Wow.
A time came for me to enroll in a talent hunt. So at first I was shying away from it. I was giving so many excuses. You know, if you want to give excuses in life, there are a lot of excuses to give. I was like, my academics. This year I said I want to be serious. Of course, I've always been serious, but I had a target for my academics this year. So because of that, I was trying to use my academics as an excuse not to engage in that. And I know deep down that going for that talent hunt will do a lot to my skill and my talent. So at the end of the day, I was able to enroll in it, even though at that point the resources I needed was not there yet. They were not there in abundance, but I still went on regardless. And I enrolled for that talent hunt. I was able to get a good coach. She did a lot to me. And although I didn't come out the first, second, or third, I didn't win.
But at least
the experience I gathered from that, I saw a side of spoken word poetry that I never knew existed. I saw the process of inculcating drama in my spoken word. I also, like, there were so many things I had to learn from that experience. It shifted me. It caused a shift in my spoken word journey. It also caused a shift to my writing journey. Like, it made me to be serious in life. I know the funny thing, some of those resources I needed didn't come until I went for that thing that I was supposed to go for. So at the course of it, I was able to get people who were willing to work with me. And how I was able to gather resources to sponsor some of the things we did, I didn't know how those resources came. So when you embrace growth, when you embrace opportunities, it gives you room for growth. And I think that's one other thing I'm going to be intentional about next year. So even as the year still went by, I had opportunities come my way for me to engage myself in, and I gave it my all. I gave it my time. I gave it my energy, because there's one thing about me: when I step into something, I'm stepping into something because I want to grow. Yes. So I embraced opportunities, and I was able to grow. I can thank God for that. Actually,
thank God. That is great. That is great. So I think that is the point you just raised earlier.
Yes, that's my point. I just raised.
Okay. Now I want to say this also again. You know, another thing that helped me in the year 2024 is self-organization and self-evaluation. Because for your life to see up, for you to see the kind of, you know, a complete and a whole being of yourself, there are some certain things you need to engage in.
That's true.
Self-organization in terms of I'm a kind of person that in all my endeavors I have coaches. I have someone that is my mentor spiritually. I have someone that is my mentor academically. I have someone that is my mentor maritally. I have someone that is my mentor professionally. All right. Because
this is one thing I need to be serious about.
Because now the person that is my mentor academically may not have the capacity to mentor me maritally.
Yes.
So the person that is mentoring me maritally may not have the capacity to mentor me professionally.
That's true.
So that is one thing that self-evaluation comes in. So I need to observe my own personal life first, and then view the kind of person that need to come into my life in order to complete that space in my life. So one thing I plan for the year 2024 is self-evaluation and self-organization. It helps me to organize my life, my posture, my experience, how to conduct my life, how to speak, how to walk, how to dress, and all of those things. So it make me to be complete. It make a whole of me. As a man, you just when you live a life of disorganized, your life is in is out of order. So you can't, if you want to command wonders, you must live a life of order. So, and all of this process has to do with how you organize your life.
Yes, that's
when
true.
you wake up, time management. What are the things? Know the right thing to do at the right time. There are some young guys or young ladies. They while away time. When they need to read, you see them on their phone. When they need to be on their phone, you see them reading. So, ability to know the right thing to do at the right time, and not just the right time, as a specific time. And what and definition. For instance, now you need to know yourself first. Like I said in one of our programs, you need to know yourself so that you won't just be carried away by another destiny of fulfillment.
Right.
Because a lot of people are being carried away with what other person is achieving or is doing. But if you evaluate yourself very well, you will be able to know that, oh, this is what I need to do. Because if you're a kind of person you love reading by 6 p.m. and I may not wire that way to be reading 6 p.m. If I'm trying to copy you, I may not achieve more and you'll be excelling.
Yes.
Why? Because I haven't discovered the right time for myself to study. You understand? So all of this has to do with self-evaluation and self-organization. How we are able to organize your life, how we are able to organize yourself. So those things helps me to organize my 2024, and I saw the result of organization and self-evaluation.
For me, I think one other thing that I was able to achieve in this year, one other thing that 2024 taught me was that it pays to study.
Wow, that's great.
It pays to study. You know, our pastor will always say, he will always emphasize on the fact that it's good to give yourself to study.
Yeah.
There was a time we had a meeting as the Dynamis Campus Fellowship ESCOs.
Right.
So he was emphasizing, like he was hitting on the point that we must study. And I tell you that this year, although I didn't study the exact number of books I wanted to, but I was able to study to some extent, and I can tell that there was actually a great because there is nothing you are looking for that the answer is not available.
Yes.
To every problem there is a solution.
Yes.
Just that you may not have it at that point does not mean that it doesn't exist. Yes. But if you can search deep, and then there are also deep words there are also things that are hidden in words that we don't know. So I gave myself to study, and I was able to create a kind of what do we call it? Should I say an organization or a group study? There's a word for it. I'm trying to remember.
Okay, like group reading.
Yes. There's a word we call it. I've actually forgotten.
Okay.
So what we did was we tasked ourselves. Okay, you are to study whatever you are studying. Give us a clue of what you are studying about, and then you already have you must is a must. If you don't study, there is a penalty for it. Right. So I was able to engage myself in that challenge for a short period of time, and then I saw the effect of it. Even academically, I saw the effect of it when my result was released last. So it pays to study. It pays to study. The things you are looking for, they're out there. They're out there for you, waiting for you. Someone says something, I think I heard it a couple of years ago, that if you want to hide something from an African man,
you had it
inside a book. But I think we are Africans now who are breaking that statement, because we have people who are rising with a culture to study, to pay attention to study, and I'm glad to be one of them. And I'm also glad that you are one of them.
Thank you so much. And then to contribute to what you just said earlier, access to the right information gives you access to the right transformation.
That's true.
Now, we have a lot of information. There's one thing we call in my profession, like it's library and information science, information overload. When there is an information overload, you don't know the right decision or the right steps to take.
That's true.
So in other words, as a librarian, there's what we do sorting or selection.
I think I remember that when I was taking one of your courses.
Yeah. Really. So we need to select the right information for the right users or patron. So access to the right information determines access to the right transformation. So we have a lot of, in our world today, we have a lot of garbages, information, this, and that is one thing about philosopher that I love. There's not this particular. If you can come up with one definition or law, and I can come up with my own.
Yes,
so
yes.
as long as I have a proof to back it up, there's no issue about that. But one thing I believe is that there are standard process to every issues. So when you shy away from the standard process, you can be derailed from the right result as well. So to contribute to what you just said earlier, that we need to give ourselves to study. Even the Bible said it. He said, give yourselves to study. We must study, because one thing we need to realize is that when you are studying, there is this thing, you are doing two things to yourself. You are developing your mind, and also you are tapping from the experience of that person,
of the writer,
yes. And the exposure,
yes,
as well. So it helps. It is good for us to study, and then you are developing your mind, transforming your mind. One of the things that I love so much in life is reading.
Wow.
If you come to my room, my lodge, I have different types of books. Is it on marriage? Is it on spiritual? That one, Bereketesios. I use my father in the Lord language. What am I saying? Is it on business? So, like I said something in the previous point, that self-evaluation and self-organization. So it has to do with all of those things. So if you want to build yourself mentally, you don't focus your mind on one direction. You need to, because you don't know where the opportunity, or you may face challenges that you need solution
That's
to.
true.
So you need to study all around things that will benefit you.
That's true.
So that is how it is.
All right. So I'm loving it here, but let's go on a quick break. When we get back, we're wrapping up the show with one or two
advice.
So let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome back from that quick break. If you're just joining us, this is the Experience Talk Show, a platform where experiences and lessons are drawn from all walks of life. I am Delight Abel, and with me in the studio is my co-host in person of
Francis Odeh.
You're welcome. Please sit back and let's continue. Before you do that, I just remembered something. We have not told them to like.
Yes.
It skipped my mind.
Yeah.
Please like this video. Please share. Please drop a comment. Let us know what you think about us. Let us know what you feel. Let us see your thoughts and your belief, your perspective, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So before we went on that break, we were talking about 2024 in view, and we're talking about the lessons we learned, and we've been able to state 3 points, 3 lessons we were able to draw from the year. There are other lessons. There are other lessons. There were painful moments. There were moments where it felt that we were all alone. There were moments where we were joyful that we felt
that we have arrived.
Yes. There were moments where we were so proud of ourselves. There were so many moments of great achievements, but time will not permit us to list all of it. And I also know that you out there, you have moments from 2024 that you can sit down and pen down those moments and say, yes, 2024 was actually worth it. So we'll just give a summary of the year 2024 and then we call it a wrap. Should I start or you start?
You can go ahead.
Man was created first.
Oh, right. That's great. So the summary of everything is that as we are about to enter 2025, we need to have adequate planning. We need to plan our life, and then the right decision to those planning matters. And also we need to develop ourselves, personal growth and personal development, and then we need to live a life of organization and evaluation. We need to organize our lives. We need to organize our lives so that our lives can see wonders. So you can't live a life of disorder. So we need to organize our lives, and the things you need to, the kind of the steps, materials, and all of those things, association, everything, that it will help you in 2024 try to think of them, plan towards it, and you see that you become of that which you planned.
Hope you are hearing that. So I think this discussion will be a discussion on its own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about 2025.
Yes.
I think we should do that before we step into the year, or maybe the first few days.
No, we would do
after
that entering into the
year.
yes,
So
yes.
that's going to be
Yes.
our own welcome to 2025
Yes.
for you.
So that it will help them to have that solid information or details about what they need to do in the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, talking about 2024 in summary, how the year went for me, I can't, just like he stated, we can't begin to say all of it.
Yeah.
But I think 2024 was a great time, and one of the things I'm grateful to God for is the fact that I was able to sit down, I picked a pen, a book, and then I started listing down the things I think I'm grateful to God for.
Yeah.
Because there's this popular saying we all know while growing up, it's even in the song, count your blessings, name them one by one. Even the Holy Book says it, the Bible says it, count your blessings, name them one by one. You will not know what you've done, what you've achieved. You will not know the miles you've conquered, the heights you've attained in this year 2024 if you don't sit down to analyze them. You may think the other person that is looking so glamorous, maybe one person who is looking as if he has achieved everything. You may think that person is better than you do, but my dear, if you can sit down and begin to write, you realize, okay, I was able to become better at decision making. Okay, I was able to step up from the mat of laziness. Okay, I was able to pick up a particular challenge. Okay, I was able to learn a particular skill. You know, when you sit down to analyze it, you realize that there are a lot of things to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
In this year.
Absolutely.
So 2024 was a great time. It was a great time for me. It was a great time for him. And I know it was a great time for you too.
Yeah.
So this brings us to the end of this talk show.
And,
Please.
And before you end it, and also, if you may take some right decision and you fail, doesn't mean that you should not embark on them.
Another right decision.
Another. I'm not talking about negative decisions. I'm talking about the right, because sometimes life is up and down.
That's
you may
true.
want to do
That's
something
true.
and you fail, doesn't mean that you know. So if you embark some positive decision and you are able to actualize them this year, try as much to improve better, and you see that you'll be able to overcome that glorious.
So we keep living our lives one day at a time, trusting God for help all the way, because it's been God all the way.
Without God, we cannot do anything.
So thank you for having us. Please do well to like this video, share this video, drop a comment, let us know that you love us, because we love you. We love you right back. So let's meet next time, same station. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.